This is the 2023 Hyundai Santa Cruz. It's the SEL premium trim level, and we're going to answer the question, what do you get for the sticker price of $39,390? Well, off the top, you're going to have a nice comfortable ride quality and agile handling. While this isn't really a true truck, you will find the cargo bed to have some really neat features. We'll be taking a look at those closely in just a little bit. And there are some great technology features that are available for the Santa Cruz. And depending on what's under the hood, you can go with the powerful turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that is actually rather impressive. And there are a few changes to tell you about for the 2023 model year as far as the Santa Cruz is concerned. Number one, there are additional safety features that are now standard across all trim levels. You will find the larger touchscreen and adaptive cruise now standard with the SEL premium trim level, and the Night Edition gets the exterior blackout package. And if you're curious, the exterior color is called California Sand, and you have black on black interior. Taking a look at the front end, well, you can tell that it's a Hyundai. It has the classic Hyundai look with the grille, the integrated LED daytime running lights, and even though I don't have the headlights on, they are also LED. I've got the blinker turned on here, really the hazard lights, but that is the blinker housing, obviously. And a very nice sized grille. I like the fact that here you have the daytime running lights flowing with the overall design of the grille, the nice large Hyundai logo. And kudos to Hyundai. Even though this isn't a high horsepower, high performance vehicle, the good news is that the logo here is basically hollowed out. So there's plenty of air coming through here that actually doesn't keep as much air getting into that turbocharged engine that's under the hood as you might have otherwise. That's very important. The lower grille as well, continuing to let more air in. And a very nice look if you like a decent size bulge on your hood. Everything works its way up off of the fender, kind of works its way down just a little bit, then arches up, and you've got that nice bulge that really just kind of accentuates the lines of the vehicle, the way that it flows around. Very well done. Very pleasing to the eye, I would say. And then we're going to take a look here. We're going to have the body color mirror caps. Everything else is going to be in flat black. Not a bad thing. The window tint actually added by Mike Morgan Hyundai from where I borrowed this particular model. And what about our tire and wheel size? 245 on the width, so quite a bit of meeting the ground, and then the 60 series sidewall. That's partially what contributes to the smooth ride quality of this Santa Cruz, wrapped around the 18-inch wheel. And I know that you like to take a look at the remote. So there's what it looks like. You do have remote start, as you can see, and then one thing I didn't mention earlier, we do have the turn signal indicators built into the side view mirrors, and then you're going to have the roof rails up here as well. And I like the fact that you've got the gloss black shark fin antenna up there. It just wouldn't look quite as nice if it was body color, at least in my opinion. You've got trim that works its way off of the rear door. It has a little bit of a break right here, but it still looks very nice. Continuing down onto the back of the truck, and as you can see, quite a bit back here. We'll show that a little bit more in detail a little later, but you can get the cover if you want for the bed. If you do go with the turbocharged 2.5 liter 4-cylinder that we do have here under the hood, it makes 281 horsepower and 311 foot-pounds of torque. Now the good news here, you might look at the Santa Cruz and say to yourself, it probably has a CVT. No, it does not. That's good news for a lot of people. It has an 8-speed automatic transmission. This particular model is all-wheel drive, and let's take a look at the MPGs. While this is the most powerful motor by 90 horsepower, we're looking at 19 MPGs city, 27 highway, 22 combined, and 4.5 gallons of gas is what Hyundai says you should burn per every 100 miles you drive. You have a 17.7 gallon gas tank, and for those who are not fans of the capless fuel fill. Good news, that is not what you have here. So again, between no CVT and no capless fuel fill, that should make a lot of potential buyers very happy. And you can tow with this Santa Cruz. In fact, it's not really a truck. I know a lot of people might refer to it as being such, but it's really not. This is what Hyundai calls it, a one-of-a-kind sport adventure vehicle. But it tows pretty much as a Honda Ridgeline, which is 3,500 to 5,000 pounds. But here the difference is going to be front-wheel drive, 3,500 pounds. With all-wheel drive, you're looking at 5,000 pounds. And while I don't know that it's really necessary, it does have a bumper step, one on each side, just to make getting in and out easier, kind of gives some options for that. The Santa Cruz logo is stamped into the bed. And then up here, we have the bed cover. Now, be kind of careful when you do this, because that can catch your finger right there, at least it did for me. But I like the fact that it's kind of a garage door style cover, and it just opens by itself, no problem. You can reach in and close it using the strap, pulling it to yourself. And we do have 8 dampened tailgate. That's always a good thing. We're going to have the in-bed LED lighting. The lights are not on right now, but you can see what's there. And you have some tie-down options here as far as what you can see right here, and then some more in the front, down there on the lower portion of the bed itself. A pretty nimble setup. And then right here, a bed trunk. Check that out. The only gong I can sound here is the fact that the tailgate only opens in the conventional fashion. And while it's not that big of a deal, I'm 5'10", I can reach in pretty easily. It's a little inconvenient that way, honestly. Not that that's a knock on Hyundai or anything like that, but it would be nice to see the tailgate to be able to open out like the Honda Ridgeline does, to make gaining access to this area of the bed a lot easier. And a couple of nice little storage areas hidden away right here. Hyundai making good use of space. You can see that I've opened the kind of a trap door here of sorts. Space here. And then you have not only space on the other side here, but also a power outlet. So that is going to really give this truck the great opportunity to be used for tailgating or a multitude of other potential functionality. And speaking of functionality, what about payload numbers? 1,568 pounds up to 1,906 pounds. I'd say that's not too terribly bad for having such a small bed and not being a real truck. And just something real quick for you to see right here. When you go to close the bed cover right here, make sure that the latch is in its closed position like that. And then when you pull it back, which is kind of hard to do, but when you pull it back, it goes ahead and latches in place. When it's still unlocked like that, it won't actually lock in place. So just in case you run into that problem, and yeah, it is a little bit hard to hold on to there. It'd be kind of nice if you had something you could wrap your hand around. Not necessarily going to sound the gong on that, but just something I noticed. And taking a look at the door panel for the rear doors, you'll notice there's no door bin here, but that's okay because you do have a drink holder right here. That's always useful. And so there's something good. You will have the seat pockets back here on each side. And let's see if I can do this one-handed. There we go. We'll get that out of the way. You can lift up both sides of the seats. Kind of hard to do that from both sides, so we'll just lift the one side up, but there's a big tray underneath here. Obviously everything to change a spare tire or to a spare tire if you need to is there, and more space on the other side. You just pull on the latch right there and down the seat goes. We'll sit inside, and the front seat on the passenger side is pretty far back, so I still have a decent amount of leg room. I'm sitting straight up. Let me fix my hair so I look decent, because it is a little windy today. Hi everybody, you can see how much space I have above my head. That is a good thing. There is quite a bit of space there. Other than that, that's basically what you get here in the rear seating area. Not a large interior, so not having rear air conditioning vents is not necessarily an issue. There are no connectivity options back here either, so that kind of is a little bit of a surprise for almost $40,000. Tell me what you think about that down in the comments section. And for those of you who have passengers who may be door bin snobs, they better call Shotgun and let them know, because they have a large door bin right here. for the front seat for the driver and passenger side doors. So you know what's there, soft touch materials for the front seat. Now on this particular model, we will not find a power seat for the passenger, but you do have a power driver seat. The passenger seat's still fully adjustable. Gonna have the Hyundai logo down here on the floor mats, and we'll hop inside real quick and take a look at how everything flows as far as the trim goes, all the way on the door, across the dashboard, even with the way the air conditioning vents are set up. You wouldn't even know the air conditioning vent was there if it wasn't for the adjustment for positioning where that air is flowing to. And then we'll also have our glove box right here. Kind of hard to see down in there, I guess, but there is plenty of space. And then we'll take a look at what we have right down here. We do have connectivity options available depending on what you want to do with that. And for those who don't like a push button shifter, well, this might be something to consider because you have a conventional style shifter here. The cup holders and a shifter area all surrounded by gloss black. So watch out for those fingerprints. But you can see some of your other options here, pretty easy to figure out what that is. And you do have heated seats. Here are the controls for those for the driver and the passenger. The armrest right here, let me get that out so you can see what is there. A good bit of space in there for a vehicle of this size. And yes, there is a conventional size sunroof. Would you like to see Hyundai add a panoramic sunroof at some point in the future to the Santa Cruz? And we'll take a look in through the driver's side door. Obviously, we can't see everything quite as well because there is the Tom Don't Roll Down the Freshly Tinted Windows reminder sticker. But you know what all is there. All the controls for the windows, you can adjust the mirrors, lock and unlock, all that stuff is there. Child safety locks, everything is there. Like I said, power driver's seat, that's there. There's the control for the headlights and using those blinkers to let people around you know what you're doing. Tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. And let's go ahead and start everything up here and get everything going. A nice digital instrument cluster. And don't mind the glowing kind of flickering effect that you see right there. That is from the lens speed or the shutter speed of my GoPro. So that's not an issue with Hyundai before anybody says anything about that, just so you know. And you do have multiple driving modes that will change the look of the instrument cluster depending on what you go into. I think Sport is the best looking. Which one do you like most? And then over here, I can't be as sarcastic about this lever as I can about the turn signal lever on the other side over there, but this is for your windshield wipers. You do have the shifter paddles on the steering wheel if you want to use that to manually row your way through the gears. And you can see what all you have here as far as your cruise control and different features with your steering wheel mounted controls. And I do like the fact that Hyundai has a rather unique looking steering wheel. Looks pretty nice. And also the infotainment screen, a very nice screen, very easy to use, very easy to learn. You're going to have map right here. Let's see if we can do that. There we go. I'm just not used to pushing that, so don't say that it's slow or anything like that. That was my fault, not Hyundai's fault. But you can see that you have your built-in navigation. There we go. It responded faster that time, didn't it? And you can see what all is here. There are a lot of great features here. And what about the rear view camera? There's what you have as far as that goes. And you do have a couple of options as far as the view you can have. If you want to back up to a trailer and pull that 5,000 pounds, this truck is supposed, or excuse me, this vehicle is supposed to be able to tow. Not a truck, I know, it's just a habit. It happens sometimes. But you can see your different views right there and the trajectory lines and all that good stuff. Dual zone climate control. And like I said, just so you can see it in action, there are the 3 different settings for the heated seats. And so a pretty simplistic system to use here. A lot going on for a pretty reasonable price in this day and age. Here are the controls for map lights, all that good stuff. You can open and close the sliding power sunroof or tilt it depending on what your fancy is. And then we just have a nice look around a rather clean interior. It's not cluttered, it's not too much, but it's not too little. It definitely gets the job done. All right, we're gonna get out on the road for our test drive. So let's see, what is it like? Is the horsepower enough? Let's see. Wow, That's actually surprising. Wow. I don't mean to sound overly impressed, but I'm going to tell you what, the acceleration was a little surprising there. Now there is a trick for a turbocharged engine that you might want to know about, which is what I just used. Ease into the pedal. Don't just drop it to the floor. You won't deal with any turbo lag that way. Not all motors are like that with turbochargers, but some still have the turbo lag issue. And I don't know if this has some kind of a generator or something on it to maybe take care of that problem. It might, but I tell you what, I was very impressed with the acceleration. Not what I expected. I think the last Santa Cruz I did, which has only been one other one, I didn't quite have that kind of a kick to it. Wow. But I tell you, it sure handles well for being what it is. It's not the most powerful vehicle on the road, obviously, but it's surprisingly fun to drive. Let's see what our turning radius is like here. Yep, definitely not going to have any trouble there. Good turning radius, so we'll go back. I'm a little low on gas today, so we're not going to take a super long test drive. But between surprisingly good acceleration and a nice, comfortable ride, you're going to get a little bit of body roll, but you kind of sacrifice a little bit of handling in the respect of it's not going to be sports car-like, but it's not supposed to be. And I don't think anybody expects it to be. But with that smooth ride, you're going to get a little bit more body roll than you might if you had the stiffer ride. Overall, it's a comfortable interior. The steering wheel is good and comfortable. I like the way it has the haunches right here where it makes it easy to put your hands where they need to be, depending on how big your hands are. If you have a lot bigger hands than I do, that might not be the same situation. But I like the fact that this is just a fun little vehicle to drive. It definitely gets you around with no problem. The technology here is easy to learn, and there's quite a bit of it. You do have all the safety features as far as your adaptive cruise control and all that kind of stuff. It's all here. And again, easy to use, easy to learn. For those of you who are saying, Tom, I've been waiting for years to trade my vehicle in, and honestly, it's on its last legs, I need to go ahead and do something. But to be honest, I'm a little scared of all of the technology. What should I do? Go to a dealership, a Hyundai dealership, whether it's Mike Morgan here in Shreveport, Louisiana, or somewhere else, and just check it out. Get a salesman to go through everything with you and just kind of hunt and peck your way through it. You'll find that it's very easy to use and very enjoyable. Once you get used to it, it's definitely not a problem. Overall, a very enjoyable vehicle to drive. It would be fun to really put it through its paces and put some weight on the bumper, weight in the bed, all of that, and then see what the differences might be. But with all the horsepower and torque that this truck has for its size, excuse me, it's not a truck, I know, have it, but for what it has for its size, I think it would do pretty well with its projected numbers as far as what it's supposed to be able to pull and haul and still get down the road with absolutely no problem. If you have a full load of passengers, I don't think it's going to be an issue. Overall, I have to say I'm pretty impressed here. Yeah, we got a couple of little gongs that sounded here and there on a couple of little features that were lacking, but not a big deal. Nothing that I believe would be a deal breaker if this is something you're saying, should I buy one, should I not? And that is what you get for $39,390 from Mike Morgan Hyundai as far as the 2023 version of the Hyundai Santa Cruz SEL Premium is concerned. Tell me what you think about that. Do you think that's a good price in this day and age? Do you think you get enough features and functionality for that price? Tell me what your answer is and tell me why you answered the way that you did. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends at Mike Morgan Hyundai for loaning me this Santa Cruz for the day, and a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to take the time to watch and give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn about other vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.